What's going on YouTube? This is Terrell Davis, and here I am with another review video. I know I haven't been on here for a while, so I'm definitely going to be covering a lot today. I'm definitely going to be covering WrestleMania and all the excitement from there. Definitely the build up towards it, the show itself, and then the post-WrestleMania moments, and also the build up to Extreme Rules. So, with that being said, here's my take on everything. So, I think that the build up to WrestleMania, I think that was it got kind of flat towards the end, towards going into the show, especially with the Monday Night Raw. I think there could have been more added to the storylines. One in particular was the Undertaker and Bray Wyatt storyline. I think Bray Wyatt and I think the WWE Universe would have benefited from at least one Undertaker appearance, if not, two or three or four, just like that one grand appearance right before the show. But nevertheless, Bray Wyatt did deliver some great promos from that rivalry. The match itself, I will get into that a little bit later. The match itself did not disappoint. The other rivalry that comes to mind that I can think of right now would be the Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar rivalry. Match delivered, like I said it would, like I knew it would, but it's just the build up to it kind of got flat as well. I think like with the when they were in the middle of the ring toe to toe, I think a brawl would have sufficed, but only thing that we got was pretty much the whole tug of war thing, the championship, where they were kind of fighting over the championship. Hey, it's mine, it's mine, and kind of ironic type deal because they were both fighting for the championship, and as I'm going to go over later on, neither one of them walked out of WrestleMania as the champion. But nonetheless, the build-ups to all the different feuds, things like that, going to WrestleMania, got kind of flat towards the end. But, and that's a big but, the show itself did not disappoint. Now let's take a look at WrestleMania. Now, there was two matches in the pre-show. The Andre the Giant Battle Royal, the tag team titles were on the line. Of course, Big Show won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and then of course in that Battle Royal, we've seen Damien Mizdow finally stand up to the Miz, and he did so by eliminating him from the Battle Royal before him, getting himself eliminated by the Big Show. I think it probably would have been better if with Damien Mizdow, winning it, kind of, showing that he's the up and comer. But as you can see from Cesaro winning last year, he really didn't benefit much from winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal because he still stayed kind of in the mid card, stayed lost in the shuffle. Of course, on the tail end of that, obviously he teamed up with Tyson Kidd, and that right there is kind of like getting, he's getting a lot of exposure from that, and they're tag team champions, obviously, so they're doing something right. Speaking of the tag team champions, Tyson Kidd, Cesaro, they face off against the Usos, Los Matadores, and the New Day, and they came out on top. The match was pretty awesome, especially that suplex thing. Like everybody was suplexing everybody, and it was pretty sick how that went down. But in the end, it was Cesaro and Tyson Kidd who came out on top and is still the tag team champions. Now switching over to the main show, I don't even know where to begin. Well, let's start with the Intercontinental Championship ladder match. Very, very good match. And honestly, I don't think anybody was surprised about the ending to it, which, you know, it was Daniel Bryan, of course, who came out on top and is the Intercontinental Champion. Um, I think, you know, ultimately, I think that that's, you know, a good move. I think it could have been anybody's match, anybody's championship, but at the end of the day, they wanted to put it on somebody who they, you know, WWE wanted to put the championship on somebody who they felt would bring more prestige to the title. So why not give it to Daniel Bryan, you know? But, you know, it worked out because he's the Intercontinental Champion. And on the other side of that coin, you know, you have, Rusev, John Cena. You know, I've said before that I thought it would have been better if Rusev had his WrestleMania moment, you know, beating John Cena. And then obviously they went the predictable route. You know, John Cena gets the win. John Cena's the new U.S. champion. I guess they felt as though putting it on John Cena would also, you know, bring prestige back. And later on, I'll show you how they've been doing that with his U.S. Open challenge. So those two matches, and then you have the Sting and Triple H match. Now, I thought this match was pretty cool. I think it would have been better if Sting won the match. And the thing about this storyline, the whole, you know, the Sting and Triple H thing, like, I think it became less and less about, the vigilante, the whole vigilante storyline where Sting was going to go and take down the authority, take down the establishment, and it became more about WWE versus WCW. And I think I don't think that's really the route they should have went with that. I think it should have been more of a whole, Sting takes down the authority type thing, just like he did the same thing with the NWO back in WCW. But I thought it was cool from a nostalgia standpoint, where Triple H, he's about to lose, and his DX buddies come out, and next thing you know, the unlikely people come out to help Sting, which would be the NWO. It definitely was a nostalgic moment there. But at the end of the day, it was Triple H who got the win over Sting. I think Sting should have won the match. Triple H does not benefit whatsoever from this victory. I think it should have been Sting in his WrestleMania debut. But that's just me. So maybe they had other plans. They had something in mind for Sting. But at the end of the day, I think that it would have been better off if Sting won the match. And then we have the Divas Tag Team match. The AJ Page against the Bellas. Of course, AJ Page get the victory. And shockingly enough, we find out a couple weeks later AJ has to retire. Which that's very, very shocking. Obviously, guilty by association. She's married to CM Punk. CM Punk's going through some legal stuff with the WWE, so it's an ugly battle there. So what can you do? And honestly, getting into, not to mention the Randy Orton Seth Rollins rivalry. Awesome RKO by Randy Orton. He has a way of using that RKO, so many different ways. If you're off the turnbuckle, he'll RKO you. Coming a springboard type move, he'll RKO you. Hell, he'll get curb stomp, and then right before he gets curb stomp, he launches Seth Rollins in the air, and boom, RKO, and that's it. And I thought it was an awesome RKO. But going into the main event now, this is Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. Now, everybody was well, I'm not saying everybody, but there was a lot of people who were skeptical about this match. They figured that, this match wasn't going to be that great. This was an awesome match, okay? Roman Reigns had the beating of a lifetime. We all know that, Paul Heyman said it time and time again, Roman Reigns was going to get the beating of a lifetime. That's exactly what happened. He came out swinging. Brock Lesnar, suplexes him all over the place, all over the ring, all over the outside of the ring. But at the end of the day, it took an opening. So just when, Roman Reigns was about to get slammed into the ring post, he reverses it, and Brock Lesnar is the one who gets slammed into the ring post. Brock Lesnar is busted open. Then next thing you know, it was an opportunity for Roman Reigns to get some offense up in there. So at the end of the day, it shows that Roman Reigns had heart, and that's not even the end of the match. So Roman Reigns is about to get his victory. He goes for a couple of spears, tries to pin Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar kicks out. Just like earlier in the match, Brock Lesnar F5s Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns kicks out. So at this point, both guys are kind of okay, what do I do now? But just when, these two guys are down, and then next thing you know, Seth Rollins comes out, cashes in his Money in the Bank contract, and now, he's taking total advantage. We're taking a page out of Edge's book, and he curb stomps everybody, curb stomps, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar tries to F5 him. And at the end of the day, it was just Seth Rollins being opportunistic. He pins Roman Reigns in the middle of the ring after a curb stomp, and we have a new new WWE World Heavyweight Champion by the name of Seth Rollins. And I think, honestly, and I've said this before, I'm not mad at it, because I am a Seth Rollins fan. I'm a Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns fan. I'm a fan of all three guys. I think, they're, well, you see it now, they're taking over the company. Seth Rollins is taking over. He's the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I wouldn't have been mad if it was him or Reigns, but at the end of the day, they went with Rollins, the unexpected result, because, Roman Reigns was pretty much the shoe-in to get the championship, but at the end of the day, there were, changes to the match, to the ending of the match and things like that, and they just so changed it so that way it's Seth Rollins, coming out on top, getting the championship. I'm not too mad at that, and it's a way for, because Roman Reigns had a lot of fan backlash, coming out of Royal Rumble, he, a lot of people didn't think he was ready to, to go to the main event. A lot of people didn't think he was, he was ready to hold the championship. So I think, by him not winning it, and WWE not going the predictable route, they I think it kind of it lets the fans not backlash as much. It's just pretty much Roman Reigns. They can kind of hit the reset button. Roman Reigns can kind of just go keep building up, have some good matches at the same time, have some good quality matches. And the one thing that honestly I don't think is really helping him right now is this whole Big Show thing. Don't get me wrong, I think Big Show is, he's going to be a Hall of Famer one day, but I don't think Roman Reigns is going to benefit too much from a Big Show feud. It's kind of pointless at this point to really have Roman Reigns Big Show thing. I think Roman Reigns, they need to pair him up with people who bring out the best out of him, and vice versa. So I think with Sheamus back and everything like that, I think those will be some good matches. Him and Sheamus, him and Wade Barrett, this, and I hate to say he may dwell in the mid card for a little while, just up until he does get his opportunity, but honestly, that's not really such a bad thing. You know, I mean, you have some good talent. You know that I think he can pair up with. But this whole rivalry, I think it needs to end at Extreme Rules. The whole Big Show Roman Reigns rivalry, they need to come to a head, and Roman Reigns needs to come out on top, needs to look strong, and at the end of the day, they need to end that feud and let Roman Reigns start feuding with other people. Hell, I mean, even if he has to feud with Triple H, like, just something other than Big Show, like, there's so many other people that he could, that he hasn't really had the chance to have a singles match with, a one-on-one match with. So, I just think that, working on his push, working on his, working on him having some more in-ring matches. That way he doesn't get as many doubters or haters or whatever you want to call them. So, and then, post WrestleMania, obviously, Randy Orton and Seth Rollins are set to face off at Extreme Rules in a steel cage match. And, of course, Seth Rollins goes the count way and bans the RKO. So, very heel move at that, banning that RKO. But it's going to be an interesting seeing them both in a steel cage match. And, Randy Orton has to do all he can to not RKO Seth Rollins, that's his favorite move. So, but, and speaking of Extreme Rules, couple of other matches that are confirmed. Roman Reigns and Big Show, like I was mentioning before, they're actually going to face off in a last man standing match. And hopefully this is the match that kind of ends that feud, between these two. But I think that this match will definitely come to a head here. And honestly, a couple other matches that are happening too. You have Bad News Barrett and Daniel Bryan facing up for the Intercontinental title. Rusev and John Cena. That one's going to be what they call a Russian chain match. That should be pretty interesting match there. I mean, I've never really seen that before, so some pretty awesome matches going on. And I mentioned Sheamus. Sheamus came back. Sporting a new look, new attitude. He's back to being a heel again because everybody said pretty much he became stale as a face. So the whole heel character is gonna really get inject some much needed rejuvenation to his character. And I mentioned new look. I mean, the guy has a big old mohawk and braided beard. He's really back to really destroy people. And right now he has beef with all the underdogs, if you will. More specifically, Dolph Ziggler. So, if it hasn't been confirmed yet, I'm sure it will be. But Sheamus, Dolph Ziggler will definitely face off at Extreme Rules, no doubt about that. And last but not least, I guess probably should just go over the Monday Night Raw in London. Like, very awesome episode. All the London, the English wrestlers. They've definitely got their love. Wade Barrett, of course, facing John Cena in that U.S. Open match to start off Raw. Wade Barrett came so close to winning, but he just didn't have it. And then you gotta like the John Cena's new little move that he has now. I guess the springboard stunner. He literally bounces off the ropes and grabs his opponent and stuns him. Just kind of a new offensive maneuver. Just to, I guess, to keep him honest. Keep all the fans on their toes and everything like that. And then you have the whole Divas Battle Royal, which Paige won. Obviously Paige from England as well. Of course, afterwards, she gets attacked by none other than Naomi, which I didn't. I honestly didn't see that character change coming. Her turning heel. So, it's going to be very, very intriguing to see what they do with her character, because she's used to just smiling, dancing. She's pretty athletic, but now they're going to add some more layers to her character anyway. But we'll see what happens with that. Of course, Paige could be injured or written off TV, from what I understand. So maybe it's going to be Naomi in line for it on the championship. So we'll see what happens. But of course, Roman Reigns, he gets interviewed, and he's working on his craft, man. Like, he's definitely looking a lot more comfortable on the mic. Especially with his interview, and with Big Show on the jumbotron. He's definitely working on his craft, man. And Big Show comes out, does the cowardly thing, and attacks Roman Reigns. Talk says it was up top of the taxi that they have on the stage. They use as a prop. So these two guys are definitely gonna do battle at Extreme Rules, and I'm hoping that it's gonna be. I'm hoping that it's gonna be a final confrontation, if you will. I think you have Fandango. Of course, he couldn't resist the urge to get the whole, the London fans of Fandango in again. And then the big question is, this is make him a face. He's breaking away from Rosa Mendez, and he's Fandangoing with the fans. So maybe this is a new character change. Maybe he's turning face now. So, I mean, I think it wouldn't be too bad. He has fun with the crowd. He definitely is into his gimmick. The whole ballroom dancer gimmick. He's definitely taken that and ran away with it. So, I definitely could see some fresh matchups with him as a face. Taking all the heels and things like that. But, and of course, I mentioned the whole Sheamus Dolph Ziggler feud. And of course, in Dolph Ziggler, it's just his own open challenge, and Neville is the one who answers it. And Neville is he's a bad boy. I haven't really watched NXT like I should. I never really have time to actually sit down and watch NXT. But for what I understand, I mean, he's a bad boy, and I've seen a couple of his matches now, and the Duke could fly. But him and Dolph Ziggler had a pretty awesome match, and of course Dolph Ziggler wins, but after that, it's Sheamus who attacks both men at the end of the match. And as I mentioned before, Seth Rollins makes the stipulation that Randy Orton can use the RKO, and vice versa. Randy Orton uses the stipulation that both of the men have to fight in a steel cage match. And speaking of which, Kane seems like Kane's gonna break away from the Authority pretty soon. He's starting to really get sick of Seth Rollins and his spoiled ways, if you will. But I think that it's gonna be it'll be something fresh if Kane does turn face. But hopefully he'll get his mask back and things like that. So well, there you have it, guys. There's my review. Looking at WrestleMania, post WrestleMania, pre-Extreme Rules. you know, definitely, you know, I know I haven't been on here posting. I haven't posted in a little while, but hopefully, you know, I can look to change that. Obviously, SmackDown's still in London, so you know, I'm definitely gonna post a review about that. But I'm definitely gonna keep you know, making an effort to, you know, post some reviews, and hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully you guys like my videos. Subscribe to my page, comment, and share it with others, and just let everybody know that, you know, I'm definitely, I talk WWE all day, and I would love to talk with you guys about it. So that being said, I'll see you guys next time. See you guys later this week as I take a look at this week's episode of SmackDown. So without further ado, I'll see you guys later. Peace.